Hi everyone! In this video, I will be discussing how to attach items with screws and/or nails. Screws and nails have been used to attach things together for a long time. They are strong and can hold a lot of weight. Let's remember some common facts about using screws and nails. Both puncture holes into the items to allow them to attach. Both usually need at least one other tool to help with attaching. Now I want you to think about some facts about screws and nails that you may not quickly remember. Their success at attaching is because they burrow into the material of what's being attached. Sometimes screws need fasteners to attach items together. Let's look at some tips and tricks of using screws and nails on 3D projects. Attaching with screws. Plastics come in different thicknesses. Some plastics are very tough and won't let you puncture with a nail or screw by hand. If you try to use a drill to puncture the plastic, remember that this could also cause the plastic to shatter. Find plastic that is identical to the kind you are using so that you can experiment on it to see how you can puncture it. This way, if it does break, it won't be the plastic you need for your project. Whenever you're attaching and you're screwing in your screws by hand, you always want to make sure that your fingers are out of the way. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to get a hole started so that way I don't have to worry about it too much. And so I'll just press the screw into the material just to give it that much of a little dent, just to get my screw something to hold on to. And you'll see that once I start pushing, the cardboard wants to fold in. So I'm just putting my hands, my fingers, on either side, not in the way of the screw, and just slowly starting to push the screw through, just to give it a little bit of tension. Now, sometimes, because the material can be so soft, like this cardboard or even this plastic, that's when you'll need to have some type of fastener. Generally speaking, there are two types of fasteners. There are washers and there are nuts. Now, when you go to use, you have to make sure they actually fit the screw that you're going to use. Some are too big, some are too tiny. It's really, really important, or else they're not going to do what you need them to do. If they're too loose, you need them to be nice and snug. If you want to use a washer to create space, you're going to need to make sure it's actually going to sit and not just fall through. So here I have my screws and my fasteners. I'm going to attach them so that way my cardboard is a little bit more secure, a little bit stronger in the attachment. So because I use that other screw, I actually have to use my scissors to open up this hole a little bit bigger. And I don't want this to move around. I want it to stay in one spot, one way. So that's where my fastener comes in. Make sure that you have it where you want it to stay. I'm going to have it be kind of like a basketball hoop. And now you simply add your fastener and twist it on. In the beginning, it's a little tough, but once you get it going, it gets a lot easier. Double check I have it where I want it. I'm going to hold the screw on this side so it doesn't spin as I start tightening. So now it's nice and strong and it won't move around. Nuts help tighten so that way things can stay really, really tight. For our purposes, washers will probably tend to be used to create space or just for design, not for what they're originally intended for. Attaching with nails. Nails successfully attach because they burrow into the material. Depending on what you found to use, your material might have a lot of empty space that the nail can't burrow into. What you'll need to do is modify the nail so that it can clamp or keep itself from falling out. Using needle nose pliers or regular pliers, bend the nail so that it has an elbow. This elbow will prevent it from falling out. After puncturing a hole in both items, you can then use this nail to loosely attach. If you're able to, you can then use your pliers and pinch the nail so that it attaches more securely. You can also add some glue around the nail so that it can't move around. Whenever you're attaching a nail or a screw, what you always want to think about is what is going to be poking out that I might touch by accident. For the screws or the nails, I always like to make sure that the end is going to be what's facing out, and that whatever is sharp or pointy is going to be on the inside where I'm less likely to put my hand in. Something you want to keep in mind when you use these. Whenever you create 3D sculptures, you must take time to explore how the material can attach and set aside time for trial and error. Art cannot be made without mistakes.